Okay, fine. Well, I recognise all the things you say. I think generally the Parish Council agrees with everything you said. I don't know whether you're aware that the CCA did recently arrange a meeting with Heathrow Hub and Heathrow Airport. I don't know whether that's the one you're referring to, whether it was the earlier Heathrow Airport consultation. Yeah. But the information is out there, but it's all on the Heathrow Airport website, and their submission to the Commission, they did go public, which upset the Commission. Actually, they wanted, the Commission wished that Gatwick, Heathrow and Heathrow Hub kept their revised submission to the Commission under wraps until the Commission had appraised it. But Heathrow Airport decided to go public because they said, you might not like it, but we're going to tell you what we're proposing anyway. So they have publicised all of theirs, and it is on the web, but it's 3,000 pages of information. How you can get your head around that is very difficult. I hear the proposal from a meeting, and I've obviously heard that from other quarters, and we'd certainly be interested in doing that. The thing is, the type of meeting you want, whether you want an exhibition where they promote more and tell you more, whether you want a question and answer session, which I can imagine would be a fairly big turnout, and yes, there could be lots of answers there, but I think you'll find that you'll still be directed, you wouldn't get all the information. They couldn't download all that information in an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, however long the meeting went. So I think the questions would probably need to be prepared in advance to make sure that some really tough, relevant questions are asked, rather than everybody trying to get space and have, spout off and somebody taking up 5 minutes for a public meeting. They're difficult things to manage, but I recognise all your points, and we're certainly, I think we're going to debate this afterwards whether we want to go forward in that way, because it's on our agenda. I think it's certainly something we'll take on board all your points, and we'll debate that after. Yeah. Well, the Parish Council have already written a comprehensive letter of objection to the Commission. Yes. And we've done that on the basis of the discussions we've had with local people. We are the 12 individuals that represent this community. We live in the community. We're not in outer space. We're not just a website out there. We are actually people in the community that live here and experience it. The problems you suffer, I suffer. And most of the people around this table, we all suffer those problems, but we want the best for this community. So I take on board everything you say, and I think probably the rest of the council agree with my sentiments and all that. We'd like to get Heathrow's expansion stopped. I mean, it wasn't our meeting, but I take your point. Yeah, yes.
Stephen, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
The Parish Council didn't organise it. We didn't do the publicity either. So we were nowhere.
But I think you're saying
and even councillors didn't know.
It was just a general comment.
What I'm trying to say is somebody must organise the meeting. They don't just turn up.
Could I explain?
Yeah, no, please.
The meeting
Charles, to make this conversation, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. What I'm saying is, I know we're all here, we're all part of the community, and we all need to take some responsibility, but it needs to be, in my opinion, the major bodies to practice and start doing something, and then you'll get residents to help. I'll make up my own. And I've only just recently found recent websites that relate to information in Colnbrook.
There is the unfortunate thing, and Davis mentioned it in his first interim report. He said, I realised that by announcing 3/4 options at the time, I'm going to cause unnecessary blighting to communities, because there were 4 options on the table. Only one at the most is going to go ahead. But the more publicity that surrounds those other 3, we don't know which 3 they are, all those areas are going to be blighted unnecessarily, because it's not going to happen to them. It might be Colnbrook, it might not happen to Colnbrook, it might happen to Gatwick. In which case, if the more furor there is about it, you're saying, oh, it's terrible for Colnbrook. House prices could suffer. And I know people at the moment that are in the throes of trying to move somebody to retire and they've been adversely affected already with the minimal publicity about Heathrow Hub.
That was me.
I know. And the more publicity you do is, the likelihood is you're all going to suffer house price blight. Now, if you're not moving, it's not a problem. If you want to stay here, it's not a problem. But it may be suffered unnecessarily. That's the sad thing. And Davis has recognised that. And in his report, he said that the government and the promoters of these sites should do something about it. And I've spoken to both Heathrow Hub and Heathrow about their intentions as what they're going to do about blight. They said, well, we're not going to do anything until it happens. Why should we? You know, if it's not our option that's chosen, why should we pay people blight compensation? As it happens at the moment, Heathrow do to a certain extent because they'll pay moving costs for some people in certain areas. But in some parts of Colnbrook, the houses might be demolished and they're suffering blight, as we know, but it may not happen because the airport might be built to the northwest, in which case it's more, I would say it's more intrusion by lorries and vans than it will be aircraft, because they won't be flying over Colnbrook, they'll just be close to the side of it, and obviously it'll be the road traffic that's going to be more of a problem. And we did take that into account when we decided our policy in going forward on this, and we thought, well, we put a strong letter in against the proposals for Heathrow and Heathrow Hub, but we wouldn't over-publicise what's going on, because the people that are doing it are already publicising it, the newspapers are publicising it, other people are already publicising it. How much do you want it publicised that this is going to be a bad thing for Colnbrook? It's a debate. You've got to just appreciate it. But if the view is of this community, you want to raise the level of it and cause a lot of stir it up. If that's what you wish to do, this parish council will do it. Well, I mean, Heathrow did write to 130,000 people telling them about their intentions. They wrote a letter to every 130,000 people, and everybody in Colnbrook received that. The same. Heathrow Hub's scheme is on the back of a fag packet. I've told them that. They've done no consultation, whereas Heathrow have. But for some reason, and I asked Adam Afridi to speak to Davies and ask him why he's considered that proposal, because it seemed harebrained without any research or background, other than I was a Concord pilot and I think it's a good idea. But didn't get a very helpful response from Adam Afridi, so we took it upon ourselves and we've written to Davies direct ourselves on the matter. So we're doing what people want, but we're not being too overt about it, because we don't want to be the cause of housing blight in this community.
An independent poll.
Not an official poll. Well, you talk to most people. I haven't. I've spoken to. I know one person that thinks it's a good idea. I know one person that thinks it's a good idea, but I think he's ill-informed himself. I think we can generally assume, without doing a poll, and is anybody here that's in favour of it? Let's do the straw poll. Is there anybody here in favour of Heathrow Expansion? No, that's probably about the proportion of people in Colnbrook.
You're right, but then again.
About this now.
Well, we're here to be influenced, so yeah.
But the
we'll listen to what people want what's here.
Yeah. I don't think there is an agreement with Spelthorne. I think what they said is they consulted Spelthorne residents. As far as I understand, Spelthorne Council is still against it. Council has agreed to it. And this is the problem of what Heathrow does. I mean, the timing of this is really just to muddy the waters. And they issue a map. There's no clear indication of which roads these are. You have to really know this area very well. You have to magnify the map to work out where it is. But this is all speculative. I don't know whether they've had any consultation with Grundons or not. The implication seems to be that this is agreed with Grundons or agreed with Spelthorne. But actually, I don't think that is the case. This is the way they operate. They say, we've talked to these people, and then they make it sound as if the people have agreed. And if you have a public meeting with them, they say, oh, well, we had X thousand people come along, and we talked about these issues and what sort of compensation they wanted, and we've adjusted our compensation package. And they make it all sound, because they're trying to convince Davis and they're trying to convince the government, as if things have been agreed. But actually there's nothing in concrete. And they're playing fast and loose with the truth. The only thing that matters is that we stick to the issues about air quality, about the traffic impacts, about how many houses are going to be lost, about how the community will not be viable if we lose 250 houses, which is what the Heathrow Hub would suggest, how we would be affected by that A4 being brought south through Colnbrook, which not only brings more traffic, but it brings the air pollution. So these things we have said in our response to Davis. We wrote the first response when the initial proposals came out. Davis then intervened and said to Heathrow, not only please develop further your plans for a northern runway, but they then said, we think you should bring that northern runway closer to Colnbrook, further south. Not for any reason for our benefit, but for the benefit of it not interfering with the junction of the M4 and M25.
Funny enough, there's a lot of companies that are looking to expand and are currently ignoring it, as it happens, quite big companies. And if you read some newspapers over the weekend, the Times was saying that Gatwick is gathering support, and there is a move now to Gatwick being the best option, which has totally surprised me. But before I came out with it, I was looking at some of the offerings that Gatwick Airport put out, and about they're the right choice, and it's quite interesting. You know, I can imagine people in Gatwick are feeling what they're feeling at the moment, but there's a lot less of them, and they have got a lot more space than we've got. So I think probably Gatwick is. Maybe the answer is that we should go out and promote Gatwick.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's something we can consider. Yeah, so I can't say whether we would, but we can discuss it when we debate the matter later.
With the local.
Well, I mean, Davis was due to go out to public consultation this autumn after he's done his appraisal, but I think things are running late, and I can't find any details on the dates. And I spoke to Heathrow and asked, because I was meeting with Heathrow, and asked them, the best people to ask at the time was, do you know how Davis is doing his consultation? And they said, yeah, we think it's just he's going to publish 10,000 pages on the web, 3,000 pages thereabouts from each of the people that are lobbying him, and 1,000 pages of his own. So how the hell do you go through that and establish which is what you're going to say? I mean, I think the view I get from everybody that I've already spoken to and senior people and seniors, well, whatever his view is, we don't want it. So we don't really care what the arguments are. We don't want it in Colnbrook. That's the truth of it, isn't it? You know. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, Slough commissioned an economic report to support Heathrow, and they're saying, and Bagley went into the newspapers, and I put a quote in there about my concerns about the traffic, etc. And her quote was that 1 in 10 of the population of Slough work at Heathrow. I don't think 1 in 10. There's a lot of children in
Slough had a consultation to produce that, aside from paying £15,000 to a consultant. 62 people responded to that consultation.
None of them was from Colnbrook, where it's due to be. So if you think you've got concerns that Speltham are supporting it, well, you should have greater concerns how much Slough.
Definitely are.
When I met with Heathrow, when they had the first consultation, I asked if I could take their chief planner around the parish and show him the impact of all some of his stupid ideas. And I spent half a day with him, and I saw her at Bagley at the time, and I asked her whether they did. She said, "Oh, well, we'd like to send our chief planner with you at the same time." I said, "Fine, come along." And Paul Stimpson was invited to come along, but he couldn't make it, and later that he was going to come along later, but still didn't make it. it was an interesting tour because this master planner had never been around Colnbrook other than driving through it in his car.
Such a campaign.
It depends what type of campaign it is. I think it was the style of campaign last time that was up for debate. And at the time, I did have reservations. I certainly had reservations, as did other councillors, that there were banners going up saying what a terrible place Colnbrook was because it's got incinerators for gravel extraction. These things we already had, and there you are. There's adverts going up saying that Colnbrook's a bad place. Doesn't do a lot for house prices. You see big banners in the village saying we've got an incinerator, we've got landfill, we've got gravel, and it's the style that we've got to think about. I think we want to work together as a community, but we obviously have concern. I think you need to be aware of it about if it's going to blight the value of your houses any more than they may already be blighted. So just be conscious of that. You've got to get a style that's right to get the point across and protect the interests of people that are at different stages in life. Some people may wish to stay here, some people might be near retirement, some people might have just moved into the house and very happy with it. You know, they've just moved in, they're very excited, got a new house, and suddenly there's all this horror going on, and you know, it can cause a lot of stress to people. And we do, you know, there's 12 people here, we all think about things, and everybody throws a different view into the mix, and that was the view that we came out with. But certainly, if you know, we're all going to pull together as a community and try and stop Heathrow Expansion. We just need to go about it the right way. So I'll make no you know, judgment on that yet, but we'll certainly have a full debate on it. Okay. I do appreciate, and I do promise you that we are here to do things to help you. And I don't think we've ever turned down any request that's within our gift that we think's, you know, something we should follow up on. Yeah. There's a certain parish council go about things in a certain way, and there's certain governance that we have to follow. Not everybody agrees with it, but there's a style of doing it. And it frustrated me when I first became a parish council that things happen so slow, and it's so, you've got to go through all these hoops. And there's a lot to understand and do. But we're only 12 people that live in this community trying to do something for this community, and we really welcome your support. Sometimes we get unfair criticism when we're just 12 people trying to do things for this community. And you know, we want to work with you, but let's all just think about each other and think about other people's points of view, you know, and try and be democratic, and don't try and get too personal about people's views, because everybody's allowed to have an opinion. You know, and don't cause other people stress by giving them grief. We're a community. Let's all work together and pull together in this.
Can I just say one thing, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I know most of the people who are here tonight because they come to my pharmacy. If ever they've got a concern of any sort, they can always raise it with me.
Yeah.
And if I can't answer their questions, I can always pass it over to somebody who can.
Yeah.
Now, I've known Angela for a long time. I expected you might have raised this thing to me with me before, but you know.
I think I've never really been vocal about anything.
No. But you've got reason to now. And I think that's the thing. There's an apathy about a lot of these things until it really affects you. And, but the likelihood is that if this were to go ahead, it's certainly going to affect all of us. So yeah, well let's just all go into this with our eyes wide open of the pros and cons of it, and try and come up with the best way of doing it. And we'll certainly have that debate now and put our thoughts together. But thanks everybody for coming, and I hope the meeting's been as helpful to you as it has been to us.